Hello, City of Los Santos. Welcome back to a Los Santos original series, The Lost Files. Today we dive into a business owner who has suffered the consequences for other people's gains. While masked men shoot up the city and rob the average law-abiding citizen, business owners struggle to keep a safe environment for their customers. At this particular location, there have been stabbings, shots fired, and even kidnappings. They never said it would be easy. It's a cold world on Los Santos, and this is just a glimpse. Good evening, Clara. I just want to thank you for joining us today on the second episode of The Lost Files. We're going to start off pretty simple. I would just like for me to tell me about yourself, what you like to do, hobbies, stuff of that nature.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Well, hi. My name's Clara, Clara Finchley. I am 26, 27 in like 2 days. I'm from England, originally, Southwest. I'm pretty active. I love jogging, running. I love swimming. Diving is really fun around here. Yeah, lots of active things. Otherwise, I love baking. My parents own a bakery back home, so I always grew up, 5 o'clock in the morning, waking up and making bread as the sun rose, which is nice. So yeah, I like to think of myself as pretty active.
That's beautiful. So you are the owner of UWU Cafe, correct?
That's right, yeah.
How long have you owned it?
Well, we officially opened on the 30th of May. So we've been open for about a month and a half, and I've owned it for just a little bit over that.
That's beautiful. I'm really happy. I mean, you guys have a great menu. The food's always...
Thank you.
The food's always up to par. I mean, I've never had anything, no spoiled, nothing of that measure. It always is fresh and all that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thank you. We really appreciate that.
I've always wondered this. How much food does the cats consume? I'm pretty sure you're buying truckloads of cat food.
You're not wrong. We have a lot of cats. Some people always come in and request them. Some people just like to come and cuddle all of them. But between all of them, we go through several kilograms of food a week. Definitely, they do love their food. They're quite little chunkers, but we always make sure none of them are unhealthy or at risk. They're all kept nice and healthy.
What would you say is your most popular dish at UWU Cafe?
Probably the bento boxes. Yeah, I didn't think... honestly, when I first opened, I thought it would be more the ramen, but the bento boxes are a pretty good hit. They're like little lunch boxes with rice and vegetables and meat in them, so it's kind of like an all-in-one little meal, on the go.
So how are the Plushies doing, and would you say they've increased business?
Yeah, the Plushies are doing really well. So when we had opening night, it was just me. I hadn't managed to hire anyone at that point. And on opening night, the very first question I had was, when can we get these plushies on the wall? When can we get them? And I've been trying ever since to get them, and they aren't exactly the ones that we have in the cafe. Those are the dolls featured in the Princess Robot Bubblegum cartoon that's on TV at the moment. But for licensing issues, we couldn't get those. But people have really, really enjoyed the little worker cats and the cats with little job plushies that we have. And they've definitely, yeah, that I remember the first day that we got them, we were busy all day. The first day that we released them, it was so exciting seeing everyone come down and sort of trade them back and forth with their friends. It's been really lovely.
I've heard a lot of stories about UWU employees getting kidnapped, customers
Yeah.
getting kidnapped. Would you like to elaborate on any of that?
Yeah, it's been hard. I mean, I always have tried with this cafe to keep it as neutral as possible. This city is huge. There are so many people and so many different toes and feet, and I'm trying so much to not step on them. You know what I mean? But things have happened. I would like to think that it's not a personal thing. I don't think it is. I think it's because there's usually people around the cafe and they are seen as easy targets for people that want to grab someone to use as a hostage in a bank robbery or a quick robbery. It's been difficult.
When would you say these attacks on UWU started? Was it within like the first week you opened, the month after? I mean,
It was about 2 weeks or so in. One of the first few things that happened was I was leaving the cafe. I walked out of the doors, normal evening, and I was heading to my car, and a black car pulled up around the corner. People leapt out. I had a gun pressed to my head. I mean, I'm from a little country back home, a little, countryside back home. We don't have guns or gangs or crime, and I can still remember the gun against my head, and they shoved me in the car and took me away. Yeah, it was hard, but I'm okay now, which is the important thing. But it has been difficult sometimes coming to terms with it.
I mean, if it's not too traumatic, I mean, I don't want to trigger any negative
No, it's
energy.
okay.
What happened during that? I mean, can you explain the situation when you got to the bank robbery itself?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I do want to say they didn't hurt me, which is obviously the first question anyone always asks you, and they didn't. Um, I've never had anything like that happen to me before. They were all masked, all in black. There was a lady there that spoke to me in a strange voice, calling me like a pretty lady, and they offered me food whilst they did the robbery, said they didn't want to hurt me, but the entire time whilst they were saying that, they had their guns trained on me. And I could see the police lights outside, and I could hear them, and I can hear the negotiations going on, and I don't know. When you feel like you're not really in your own body, you feel like you're watching somebody else because you think, this can't happen to me. You hear about it on television and in films and things, but you never really think it'll happen to you.
That has to be a traumatic experience.
Yeah, it has.
How have these, I would call them attacks, affected you as a business owner?
It's been hard. I mean, I'm happy to say that, since we opened, we've pretty much been open every single day, but there did come to a point where there was robbery after robbery and attack after attack, and I've always said, people before profit. I will happily close the cafe for one day, maybe more, if people stay safe. So that's what I did before. Personally, I still struggle with it. Sometimes a car alarm will go off, or the apartment below me will yell or a loud noise, and I think I'm back there. Or I'll see someone like pull a gun out in the city, and it all just comes back. Or doctor's got me on some medication, which helps, I think. But it's it's a lot to adjust to.
How would you say these attacks affected your employees and your customer base?
Of course. I mean, I will say my employees are incredible. They are they are wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better team, and they have more of a strong backbone than I do. They've usually been the ones to comfort me whilst things have been going on, but I'm not blind to know that they're shaken. They know that they can take any time they want off. I'll never question it if they need it. if they need anything, they can come talk to me, but I think it shook all of us for a while. You know, we never want any trouble with anybody, and then people end up getting kidnapped or robbed right outside. And in terms of our customers, I mean, people have been great, you know, they hear about things happening and they still come and show their support, or the amount of offers of help I've had throughout people in the city are incredible. I'm really, really lucky to live here with all these people.
What was the most traumatic event that you've experienced at UWU?
I think if it isn't the one where I got kidnapped, it was one where I had to stand and watch as one of my employees was shoved into a car at gunpoint. There were so many of us in the cafe at the time. We just looked out and I saw this car pull up, all these people in masks, aim guns at my colleague, shove her into the car, and I wanted to run out, you know, you always do. You just want to run and grab them and bring them back inside, but it was awful. The police, we tried to call the police as quick as we could, but they'd sped off, and eventually, after a long chase, they rescued my colleague, which was the main thing, but it was awful, that feeling of being powerless and not being able to do anything, especially when it's not only your friends but your workers and your employees. As an owner and as a boss, it's terrible.
Have the police had anything to say, or have they helped in any way?
They have, yeah. We've had lots of police support. Every time we've called them, they've come around as quick as they can, and they've been very helpful. We had increased police patrols around the area around the times that the attacks and the kidnappings were most prevalent. And yeah, we've had some officers, really kind ones, come and sit in our cafe when they're off duty as well, just to keep an eye on us whilst I was trying to get some security for our cafe. So overall, they've been helpful. I mean, sometimes it's been frustrating when, you know, they don't manage to catch the people who did it, but ultimately I would just rather have my employees back and safe than any other outcome, you know, and so far they've been doing that. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful.
I remember at one time you hired security, and I heard that he got fired. Would you like to speak on that? I mean, you don't have to name the person, but would you like...
Sure. So he didn't get fired. He quit on his own. There was an incident where I discovered something, and I advised him that due to the cafe's reputation and due to us all working really hard, that he not continue with a certain action, and I simply said, please don't do this. This is a warning. If you do continue to do this, then unfortunately I will have to let you go. I said I didn't fire him. It was just a simple warning and a request, because we've all worked really hard. I've tried so hard to keep the cafe clean and safe for everybody and neutral for everybody from all walks of life, you know, police, bikers, gang members, everybody. And with that warning, he decided to quit on his own. We still get on. I've spoken to him today, actually. We seem to be fine, but he quit of his own volition. And as I said to him at the time, I wish him all the best, and I really do.
With that being said, do you have security currently?
We do, yeah. We do have some small security. I have been thinking about hiring some more, but lately the attacks and the danger around the cafe have decreased. We'll have to see, depending on how it goes. But at the moment, we do have a lot of security in place for the cafe, yeah.
Well, with all the negative and trauma stuff past us now, do we have anything new to look forward to coming from UWU? Any new drops? Anything that's happened recently that you want to speak on or tell the people?
Yeah, of course. So, a few things. So, with the plushie cats that everyone knows and loves, some people might not know that if you collect all 13, you can now get a special UWU Cat Cafe badge, which is a collectible, a little collector's item, and that could be handed in for a decent cash reward. Otherwise, it's just bragging rights that you've collected all of the cats. We also do have a UWU food truck now, where feel free to look for it out in the city, where if people are already in the cafe, we'll be out delivering food to you, or we'll be stopping at key places. So if you can't quite come over to the cafe, maybe we're a little bit closer to our food truck, so you can still come and experience, good Uru food without having to drive across the city or further.
This is the closing statements, and I just want to thank you again for giving me your time and being such a great interviewee. I mean, I've really enjoyed this experience. Do you have anything?
Thank you.
Do you have anything to tell the people as a good farewell, if you will? Any positive, negative message? You want to send a message to those gang members, to the police, to the community? I mean, you're free to speak. I'm just gonna be quiet and give you the floor. So.
Sure. I guess I don't know. I mean, the city is so much bigger than anything I've ever experienced, There are so many people, and it's so loud and crazy and dangerous, but there's also lots of light and lots of kind bits. You've just got to look for them a little bit more. I'm never one of those people that are gonna put someone in a box, I've seen people that have been called cruel and awful and dangerous. I've seen those people be kind too. I think we're all capable of being kind just as much we're capable of being dangerous. So I suppose in this really big city, let's just try and all live as close as we can without stepping on each other's toes, I suppose. I don't know. I'm just happy to be here and just keep doing what I'm doing, really.
Hey, it's M16. Another day in Los Santos. Hey, tryna make a way in Los Santos. Hey, yeah. Wake up every morning, I got money on my mind. Gotta get on my grind. And if you ain't talking about